Yay, you made it to Unit 5, video number 5, all about trapezoids. Okay, go ahead and pause the video and copy down everything about trapezoids. You're also going to see that there's stuff about isosceles trapezoids, which are a special type of trapezoid. Okay, so with the trapezoid, it's a quadrilateral, so it has 4 sides, and 2 of those sides must be parallel. The other 2 are not, and they don't have to be congruent, so they can be any length. Okay. Isosceles trapezoids, however, have congruent sides, congruent legs. They still have the parallel sides, and if you look, their diagonals are also congruent. So this segment is congruent to this one's congruent to this one, and the entire diagonal is congruent to this entire diagonal. Okay, with isosceles trapezoids, these angles up here are also congruent, and these base angles are congruent. They're called base angles. Okay, let's try some problems with trapezoids. Okay, problem 1. We need to find x for the given trapezoid. Well, the key to this one is noticing that this length is congruent to this length, which means it has 2 congruent legs, which means it's an isosceles trapezoid. So because of that, we can go back to our properties. We know that this length is congruent to this length. Okay, so we need to find x. So we'll set up an equation where those 2 are equal to each other. So 5x minus 10 is equal to 3x plus 4. Okay, so we need to solve, so we'll subtract 3x to the other side. That gives us 2x minus 10 equals 4. Add 10 to both sides. So 2x equals 14. Divide by 2, and we end up with x equals 7. X equals 7. We could always plug it back in and get this value. Would be 3 times 7 is 21. 21 plus 4 is 25. So this piece is 25. And so is this one. If I were to put 7 in here, 3 times 7 is 35. 35 minus 10 is 25. All right. Okay, now we're going to be finding a missing angle. So once again, look, we have congruent legs, which means that this is an isosceles trapezoid. And with isosceles trapezoids, we know that this angle is congruent to this angle, and this angle is congruent to this angle. That's back in your vocab. Okay, so what we can do with this, let me go ahead and put a spot for my answer. W equals. What we can do with this is notice that we have 42 degrees, so on the left side, so the right side, the right angle, has to also be 42 degrees. Okay. Well, remember that all 4 angles have to equal 360 because it's a quadrilateral. So we can take 360 and subtract off this angle plus this angle, and that's going to leave what we have left for these 2 to share. And because they're congruent, we can just divide it by 2. So we're going to subtract off 84. The sum of our 2 base angles. So we'll subtract, we have to borrow. So we end up with 276. Okay, well both of those angles, this angle and this angle, share the 276. So we need to figure out what is one of the angles. So we're going to have to divide 276 by 2. Okay, it'll go in 1 time, 3 times, and 8 times. So we end up with this angle being 138, and this angle will also be 138. And you can double check to make sure that this angle plus this angle plus this angle plus this angle all add up to 360. And you'll notice that these two angles add up to 180, and these two angles add up to 180. So my answer was 138 degrees. Okay, well, I hope you had fun with trapezoids. Hope you have a fantastic day.